Welcome into another episode of the Pats Rap Podcast. I'm your host, Beej.com, Beethoven, whatever you want to call me. And we're recording episode 4 of the Pats Rap Podcast. And I'm going to title this one, Is Mike Vrabel Able? Thanks for tuning in, y'all. I appreciate all the support. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Uh, in the comments, man, put a lot of topics that you guys want to hear me talk about. Like I said, as we move into the off season, I'm going to start expanding what this podcast is about. It's going to remain the Pats Rap podcast, but I'm going to talk about more things outside of just the Patriots. I really want to get into draft, everything around the league. We still got the playoffs, so I'm going to talk about the playoffs, college football championship, all of the above. So thank y'all for tuning in. Let's get right into it. The New England Patriots have a new head coach by the name of Mike Vrabel. Y'all might remember Mike Vrabel if you're Patriots fans. 8 years here back in the first dynasty. He played linebacker. Crazy stat. He has like 10 touchdowns as a linebacker on offense. He would line up as the jumbo tight end and run routes in the red zone and catch touchdowns from Brady. So a lot of history here. He's never coached here, but had a very successful career here and as a Patriots Hall of Famer. A few years back, he actually during the Titans, he was the head coach of the Titans during their bye week. He came back to New England and received his red jacket as a Patriots Hall of Famer, and he said that don't take this place for granted. It's not like that across the league. And a lot of the people in Tennessee didn't like that because he was basically hyping up another organization, even though he was the head coach of the Titans at the time. But funny enough, he was the head coach of the Titans for Tom Brady's last playoff game as a Patriot. The Titans actually beat us. Tom Brady threw that game-ending pick six. That was against Mike Vrabel. So a lot of history with Mike Vrabel. I didn't like the way that things went down with Gerard Mayo and him only getting a year and getting fired. But I think Gerard Mayo wasn't ready for the gig. So it only makes sense that they get somebody that they're comfortable with and somebody that knows what they're doing as a head coach, has success as a head coach. Um, so yeah, Mike Vrabel, new head coach. I'm interested to see who his coordinators are going to be. I hope we keep Jeremy Springer, our special teams coordinator, but obviously we're going to need a new OC and a new DC. Josh McDaniels is a name that's been floating around. I get it, but I'm not the biggest fan of bringing Josh back here. The only good thing about bringing Josh back here is that he's going to stay here because he's not going to get another head coaching job. He's already failed at that twice, so he would be here for the long run. But I don't know if I'm a fan of the Earnhardt Perkins offense with Drake May at the helm. And Josh McDaniels has shown the ability to call the offense based on who his quarterback is, but his core play calling is within the Earnhardt Perkins, which so is Ben Johnson for the Lions, who I wanted to be the head coach. But I don't know. Josh, cool. But I think I want somebody that's more West Coast to keep that continuity with Drake May. He spent a whole year learning the West Coast terminology and the West Coast offense. So maybe somebody like Tommy Rees, Josh McCown, somebody like that. Maybe even ex Patriot staffer, and now he works currently with the Rams, Nick Caley. He was a candidate before we hired Alex Van Pelt last year. We just didn't want to pay him enough. So maybe somebody like those three who are comfortable and know about the West Coast offense can come in and keep that continuity with Drake May, even if they end up leaving in a couple of years because the offense is successful. If the offense is successful, as far as defensive coordinator, I don't really have any preferences on that. Vrabel's a defensive guy. He's been a defensive coordinator before, so he's probably going to work in conjunction with whoever it is that he hires. So I'm not too concerned with that. I think they'll be able to, establish a good defense with the players that we have. Offense, offense, offense. That's what we're worried about right now because we have a, quarterback going into his second year that's already shown flashes. We all, as Patriots fans, want to know who's going to be the guy coaching him moving forward. So again, offense, offense, offense. I think Vrabel's got a handle on the defense, so we're not too concerned with that. Um, just a quick little blurb about the interview and hiring process. They only interviewed 4 candidates, one of which was Ben Johnson, and the other two were Byron Leftwich and Pep Hamilton. And those 2 interviews were obviously sham interviews, to satisfy the Rooney Rule. Now, the Rooney Rule has its flaws. But people have said Byron Leftwich and Pep Hamilton's name more in the last week than they have in the past couple of years. So I see where they're coming from with it, even though they were sham interviews. I mean, personally, I think an owner has the right to hire whoever they want to, you know, and maybe, and I'm a black man, I'm a minority, so I understand what the rule stands for, and I'm glad that these people are getting these opportunities. But again, like I said, I think shame or not, an owner's going to hire who they want. It doesn't matter. They know how to skirt around the rules. So not going to spend too much time on that. As far as the direction of the team, we still have Elliot Wolf as our president of player personnel. So I know Ryan Coden, he was with Vrabel in Tennessee, is coming over to be the vice president of player personnel. A lot of people are speculating that he's going to be the actual guy to make the decisions and not so much Elliot Wolf. They think Elliot Wolf is going to go back more into a scouting role, even if he keeps that title. Another way for them to skirt the rules as well without having to go through an interview process for a new GM. Um, Quick episode here. I'm going to keep a lot of my points short. Um, I watch a lot of Boston media, even though I'm here in Texas, just to keep up with what's actually going on. You know, national media doesn't really have the inside intel on a lot of things that's going on there. So I watch a lot of Patriots podcasts, Tom Curran, Phil Perry, Taylor Kyles, all those guys. I watch all of that stuff. And based off of Mike Vrabel's initial press conference when he got the job, everybody's pretty excited. They said he sounds like a guy who knows what he's doing. He has a plan. He wants to eliminate players feeling like they're entitled to be on the team. They want him. He wants to make them earn the right to be on the team. So everybody in the Boston media is pretty high on Vrabel. Um, you know, and they were there, so I'm gonna trust their instincts on what they heard and his demeanor and things like that. So I'm excited to see the direction of the team. I'm tired of us being bad. We've been bad for a couple of years now, so hopefully Vrabel can turn this thing around. And again, like I said, I hope he brings in a killer OC. Even if it's somebody we never even heard of, maybe the next Ben Johnson, next Sean McVay, that kind of person. That's really what I'm hoping for this team. I just want to see where this team can go offensively. I'm going to talk a little bit about the college football playoffs. You guys know by now I'm a Texas fan. Hook 'em. I'm going to keep it short and sweet, man. We have a coach that's not a big game coach, and we had a quarterback who's not a big game quarterback. So they were a match made in heaven. When it comes to big games, they're going to poop it. Sark's play calling was abysmal to end that game, and Quinn's play was subpar at best. It's not what's going to get you to a championship or win it. So I'm glad that Quinn is going to be moving on. And I don't know what Arch is going to be, but I feel like Arch got that dog in him. So at the very minimum, he's going to go out there and put his body on the line for the game. And hopefully Sark can figure out how to call a game better at the end of the game. It's just like the Shanahan in the Super Bowl kind of thing. Like he cannot finish games. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. Notre Dame beating Penn State wasn't too surprising. I think Notre Dame's hot right now, and I think that Notre Dame's probably gonna win it all against Ohio State. I think they just got that Cinderella story going right now, and I think Marcus Freeman is gonna ride off into the sunset, right into that Bears job in the NFL, and I think he deserves it, man. He did a remarkable job. He's a friend of mine said he's got people rooting for Notre Dame, and nobody's ever done that. So go, shout out to Marcus Freeman. Like I said, I hope he gets a head coaching job. The Bears job is probably the one that's most likely for him, and I think Notre Dame is going to win it all. We talk about the NFL playoffs. The Ravens and the Bills dominated. Super impressive. Is exactly what you expect from those two teams because outside of the Chiefs, those are the other two best teams in the AFC. And the Bills should have dominated the Broncos because the Broncos were posers, whatever, Bo Nix, I guess. But what the Ravens did against the Steelers was incredibly impressive. 299 rushing yards, 180 something of those from Derrick Henry alone. They looked unstoppable. They looked like they got whatever they wanted against a great defensive team and a historically great defensive team in the Steelers. They always have that down pack, and to let up that kind of performance, I'm sure there's some questions in Pittsburgh right now with the coaching staff, quarterback, all of that. I think Mike Tomlin's safe, but you got to look at that. They've lost 6 straight times in the playoffs, so something to look at. But the Ravens look impressive, man. I hope they can take this thing all the way to the Super Bowl. We need the well, speaking of the Texans, that first half of that Texans Chargers game was a snooze fest. Both quarterbacks looked like they didn't know what the hell they were doing. And then in that second half, man, the Texans pass rush just went crazy. And Justin Herbert, who I firmly believe is the most overrated quarterback of this era, this new wave of quarterbacks, he's the most overrated one. He's the one that gets the most praise and has done the less or the least. I mean, so he looked how I would expect him to look because I don't think he's great. And on the other side, CJ Stroud did enough to put his team into position, but it was really that Texans defense that really got that win for them. And I hope that they can take that momentum into Kansas City because I think, Kansas City, all the starters had a lot of time off. They had the bye week and they haven't been playing great at all this season already. So Andy Reid's a mastermind. So I know he's going to be able to scheme up against that pass rush. But if they can bring that intensity that they brought against the Chargers, I think it's going to be a tough game for the Chiefs and Mahomes and them. So I'm gonna predict that the Chiefs win, however, and I'm predict that the Ravens beat the Bills. I think that's gonna be Ravens Bills or Ravens Chiefs in the AFC Championship. And on the NFC, I think the Eagles are gonna win the Super Bowl. So I expected nothing less from that Eagles performance. Saquon. I needed Saquon to score that last touchdown for my parlay, and of course he's a good guy and just slid to burn the timeout. But I needed that Saquon. So hey, next time you got some green, man, go score that for your boy, please, please. All right. Um, but yeah, uh, I mean, Philly's weakest link is their quarterback, and he's not bad. He just is their weakest link on offense. They got so many good players. And what the Rams did to the Vikings, man, Sean McVay might be the best coach in football when his team is healthy. When I watch that offense, man, I see stuff I've never seen. I see Puka Nakua go in motion, and his release point is between the tackle and the guard. It's crazy. I don't even know how you scheme that up, but he might be the best coach in the league when his team is healthy. I think he can beat anybody at any given time. So shout out to the Rams. Sam Darnold. I mean, I heard somebody say today that the person that was most upset with the Vikings loss is Sam Darnold's agent because of how much money he just wasted between these last 2 games. He looked like Jets Sam Darnold. It was embarrassing. Feel like he was seeing ghosts. I mean, 9 sacks. That's crazy. So shout out to the Rams. Shout out to the Commanders. I mean, Jaden Daniels is on a historic run, man. To take that team from what they were last year to 12 wins this year, they look amazing. He looks super pro ready. I wish he would have been a Patriot. I'm happy with Drake May, but I really wish that he would have been a Patriot. Um, yeah, so shout out to the Commander. Shout out to Jaden Daniels, man. This playoffs is going the way that it should, and I'm excited for the second round of games because it's good teams. It's not teams that are squeaking by. It's good teams, good competition. So I'm really excited about the NFL playoffs. I'm really excited to start getting into some draft work. I'm coming around, man. I think Abdul Carter at number 4 should be a Patriot, man. Not gonna lie. Um, I'm really coming around to that. So I'm ready to get into some draft work. Short episode for y'all today. Started back up working again after the holidays. You guys know how it goes. It gets busy around here, but I wanted to come on and show the updated show the updated setup, man. Got a new camera, but not a new camera, but I set up my good camera as my webcam. I learned how to do that. So, as I keep going with this thing, I'm going to keep finding ways to give y'all a better product, whether that's visually, audio, adding film into my breakdown, like doing breakdowns, film, adding clips into the podcast. I'm still new to this and I'm doing this all on my own. So as I learn these different tricks in the trade, I want to get better at my craft and I want to give y'all a product that you guys can enjoy and, not just have on in the background, but something that you're really in tune with. And I want to talk about other topics. So again, like I said, in the comments, drop topics that you guys want me to talk about, even if it's not sports. We can talk about music. It's the Pat's Rap podcast, so I love talking about music. Talking about some stuff that's going on, uh, family topics, what's going on in the world. Prayers up to everyone in California that's been affected by the fires. Shout out to the fire department, first responders, National Guard, everybody that's out there helping out right now. Um, uh, Again, for a second week in a row, I don't have on any Patriots gear. You know what I'm saying? Got the cool little Skull 36 Mafia shirt from that Juicy J had on, little hat and all that. But I might go back to the Patriots gear. I might just keep getting trimmed for y'all. You feel me? Whatever I decide to do, whatever I decide to mix it up. But yeah, short episode today. I'm rambling at this point. I just wanted to get behind the camera and give y'all an episode for this week. So just a recap, man. Patriots have a new head coach, Mike Vrabel. Let's see if he's able to turn this team around, man, because we need it, man. I know we're fiending for a playoff game, a playoff win for sure, but just getting over 500 or at least 500. I know Pets Nation is fiending for that. So let's see what Mike Vrabel's going to do. Depending on how coaching hires come in or if breaking news comes, I'll hop on here and give you guys another, breaking news episode. Um, Again, man, I still want to tap in with some people and do some collab episodes, do some interviews and things like that. So again, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, Pat's Rap Podcast. I'm your host, Beej.com, Babe Tovin, whatever you want to call me. This is episode 4. I catch y'all next time. You dig?